This is your daily real estate syndication show. I'm your host, Whitney Sewell. Today, we've packed a number of shows together to give you some highlights. I know you're going to enjoy the show. Thank you for being with us today. Welcome back to the show. Honored to have you on again. It's been 2 years since your last appearance on the show. So looking forward to catching up with you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Whitney. It's such a pleasure. And congratulations on the successes you've had since you and I have known each other. And I'm so tickled to be back to add value to your audiences.
Vinny, let's jump in. I know that you've accomplished a lot, right? In many years of real estate, and you've grown a large business and just respect in this industry. But I want to catch up with what's happened with your business over the last 2 years, and let's dive in. I know the listeners are going to learn a lot from you today.
Sure, sure. Actually, Whitney, if I may say, I started with the duplex. Everybody listening to me today, we still own the duplex, my wife and I, in Odessa, Texas, and we bought 14 units for $180,000. Of course, we sold it later on, 4 years later for 380. I hear that same property, 14 unit, is about 1.3 million. Wow. It's mind-boggling. But the power of syndication, helping to raise money with friends and family and things, which a lot of people do now, that has been the real ticket for me as growing my portfolio from that small duplex all the way to $1 billion, more than $1 billion in AUM, buying $180,000 property to 53 million, $63 million deals, which I've done in the last 3-4 years. In last 3-4 years, I've not bought much, by the way. I've been selling. I've done about 40 syndications, approximately. That means 40 transactions, smaller to much, much larger in my career. And then I've sold them also quite a lot. I have maybe close to 400 million in my portfolio left now, but they are really good B class, B plus in nice areas.
Okay, so you still own some. So you sold quite a few, which I think it was great timing, by the way. But you
Yes,
sold quite a few, but you held on to some of the B class assets.
yes.
Maybe give a couple examples. I know we're going to jump on into where you all are at now as an organization and your focus now, but why did you hold on to those B class?
That's a good one, very good one. Actually, one I bought in COVID in Austin, Texas, 319 units, I think it's called, near the Domain. And actually, there was an off-market deal. I loved it, 34 million 750. It's worth almost 60 million right now because the interest rate I locked in, 10-year fixed, was at 3.74% assumable. So that's a good one, brother. The other one I'm thinking of is the Princeton Park over there in Melbourne. I bought it in 2019, December. What? I bought two that year only, just two. One was $52 million deal in Orlando. I sold it for 64 last year. I sold that off. And then this one, I bought it for 35 million with my partner, and it's worth right at 50 million, let's say, Then the one we bought 2021 again, during COVID, only one transaction was in Tennessee. So that one I'm selling right now. We bought, it was a small one, 107 units. It came on the table. We bought it 12 million 5. We are selling for 17 million in just 2 years. So not
Pretty
too
good.
bad,
Yeah.
finding the right place and right locations, right markets is the key, as you teach and I teach.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like, you mentioned a couple of interest rates there and whatnot. It sounds like because of proper financing and just nice assets are a good buy, it's worth holding on to them potentially for a while. It's hard to get financing right now, isn't it? That
Yes.
makes sense. But right now, Vinny, you are. I mean, you kind of pivoted the focus of the business, right? Or what you all are buying now. Maybe share a little bit about that, and let's dive into that.
Love to, love to. About 4 years back, I pivoted a little bit because as I became, I just turned 71, by the way, 7-1.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Over the weekend, Virgo. And exciting part is that when I started looking demographical shifts about 6 years back, I knew silver tsunami is the phenomenon that is going to catch on all over. And what that means is 10,000 baby boomers are turning 65, becoming, 65 every day in USA. It will keep on going for many, many years, actually. The last, I think, baby boomers will be turning 65 in 2031. What? So
Wow.
there is a huge need for seniors and demographical shifts. They are moving from the cold environment into the more warmer states, Florida, Texas, Arizona's, all these, nice places. So that was my focus. I said, I've been chasing workforce housing. Now I can chase retirement where they want to be as far away from workforce as possible. So
Yeah.
that's a new thing, which really, really, I pivoted about 3, 4 years back and got a very good partner. And we are building senior assisted living one level ground up with amenities like of course, dining hall, restaurant inside, and then, of course, the library, spa, and the grand piano and the meeting rooms and all these and exercise, all that stuff, right? But that's the one which I've pivoted into multifamily assistant living and memory care. There is residential side too, by the way. Oh, by the way, I may like to share with your audience my book on senior living investing made easy, just like my apartment syndication made easy book. I just kept that made easy theme, and that's being launched in a month or so. It's
Love
ready,
that.
440 pages. And Kim Lisa Taylor helped me also, my good friend. Kim Lisa Taylor's SEC attorney, top attorney. She did 26 of my syndication packets, her company did. And she helped me also in that book. So I want to give thank you to her.
That's awesome. I know this is I was telling you this, or we were talking about before we started recording, but like, it's kind of an asset class. I feel like that hasn't had much glamour, right? It hasn't been talked about a whole lot until
Yeah.
I've just heard a little bit more and more just recently. But I feel like a book like that would be very helpful, right, for investors who
Thank you.
are operators and passives as well. That
Yes.
it's like, well, is this something I should invest in? You feel like I don't
Mhm.
know a whole lot about it, right? To even call the operator and ask them, or talk to them about the investment. I don't
Yes,
know enough about senior living to
totally.
to feel comfortable with that. Is there maybe a few things you could help, say, the passive investor, Vinny, just to know or to think through, or things they should ask about when maybe assessing, investing in a senior living facility?
Love to, love to. Whitney, I would definitely say it's very similar to asking syndicators or, operators, we call them, about their background, about, what their track record is and how they go about finding these locations for senior assisted living, which is very different, way, way different than the workforce housing, I would say, definitely. And I explain those things in my book also very succinctly. And then the graphs, so many graphs I put in the book, which take you through the whole spectrum, how the whole shortage is there, and how senior living, if run properly, makes more profits, more money than even multifamily. Wow. Because the same unit, which we can rent it for like $1,300 a month, you can the senior living assistance and caring and everything and having a nurse there, it goes for $5,000. So per month. So that's like 3 times the rent coming in. Of course, there are more expenses too, which I explain in the book also. We have the 3 meals a day, snacks, we got the chef, we got executive director, we got business director, then we have caregivers, 24-hour operation. So it's a real estate. You could own the real estate or lease it, and it's a business also. And there are really fine companies out there, third party, by the way, who do these kind of things also. Like in my case, we've been doing, my daughter and I and our partner have been managing them. But our new growth will be coming in working with third party management companies giving them 3%, just like multifamily, same way. You are able to give 3% or so, or 3.5%, so that they are able to manage your asset rightly, because having the personnel in the senior living is the main thing. Having the right people, because you want to give the best of the best, structure, and the real product is giving the dignity, respect, and the caring for our seniors. And they could be anywhere from 79, 78 years to 103 years, like in our centers.
Yeah. 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 My grandfather
Mhm.
passed just this past year and he was 102.
Oh,
And
wow.
my
Yes.
grandmother at 95 is still alive,
Oh,
and
wow.
and
Yes.
thankfully she's still able to be at home, believe it or not. But if she had to go into some place like that, or even a parent, I mean, it's the care, right, is just
Oh,
crucial, right? Especially for the
totally.
family
Totally.
member bringing their parent or loved one to a facility like that.
So totally, I mean, if they could stay at home, they're very fortunate, to have the family and, the support system like you have and your siblings, which is fabulous. The best place is home, definitely. But you're right, when, one of the spouses passes away, then the life starts going ill down, or somebody has a slip and fall, things like that. And if they cannot get care at home, then they move into, of course, assisted senior livings and memory cares, dementia, and everything. But again, there are other communities like retirement homes and 55 plus communities. Those are senior living too, but we are not into that yet. We are just in the middle part, which is assisted living and memory care, which is state licensed. And then on the right side of the whole spectrum are the rehab centers, hospitals, all that. That's much more bigger, with doctors, medical equipment, medical beds, all that. So we are not into that. That's in itself a very big, very complicated business.
Decipher that again there. I just want to make sure I understood that. So, like, you all are in assisted living and memory care, but there's not a say an age that determines that, or this is mostly just because they need the help, or what kind of determines that versus the other you were talking about?
For sure, for sure. Whitney, there are ADLs, activities of daily living. We call it activities of daily living. There are lots of them. But if one of the impairment is that somebody cannot cook, a senior cannot cook, or they cannot take bath, or they can't really take medicines, on their own, or they cannot walk or drive. So if there are three impairments, then they qualify to be in the assisted living. So that's how we take it. We also take independent also, if there is a husband, wife, or a significant other. If one of the person is independent, don't need any assistant, but the other person does, and they want to come into our centers, then we let them come. So the one, in the same room, two beds, or, one big bed, or like that. But most of my centers are about 80 to about 120 units. So we don't do too many big ones, 400, 300, like that. We want to give the quality of service.
Yeah, I love that. I love the thought too of taking the husband and wife, right? Even if it's just one that needs it, because man, that'd be horrible to have to separate them, right? In the last years of life. But I love that that's an option, right?
Yes.
As I'm getting older, Vinny, I'm glad that's an option. I'm just kidding, but that's awesome. And so I love the focus right on the senior and the
Thank you.
care, no doubt about it. I wouldn't expect it any other way from you. But what about you mentioned you all are doing ground up. So like, why ground up, say, versus buying pre-existing, or are you all buying pre-existing as well?
Very good point. Very good point. The ground up's taking much longer because we buy the land and say that in 6 months we'll close on the land with another extension of 30 days or 90 days again, because we want to make sure we get the permits and the whole changing of the, all these policies. We have to go through so many different studies and everything. So we are able to buy the land with our rendition of the renderings and everything. but then it takes about 12 months to 14 months to build on it. So it's a process of 9 months getting the permits, or 12 months getting the permits, plus another 14 months. That's 2 years and 2 months already. Then you need another year to stabilize it. So it's a long process. You're so right about it. But by having a raw, you could do so many great things with the land. You could do all the different amenities you want to put at the right places, and the sunrooms, and have the meeting rooms, and all the different things which I put, the courtyards with walkways and all, and then of course spa and salons and meeting rooms, and like I said, big dining hall, library, movie theater. We put them all in there. It's a multifamily, which I know we're just putting a twist of senior living into multifamily. And now we are going two-story also. So that way, there is a big elevator and so on. But you're right. We are also looking into converting some suites hotels,
Oh, wow.
because if they are very nicely built and they are old, we have to renovate them anyway, bring to code, put new elevators in there, and then we could change. Suites hotels have bigger spaces, bigger rooms. We kind of like those. So converting them, or even converting some office spaces. Again, it all depends. Shopping centers or strip shopping centers will be ideal too, because there you are able to have them confirm and change, things on the ground floor to be able to. So there is a mixture, right?
Yeah.
Whichever location needs to really do a good feasibility study, or get it done from a professional who looks at the demographics, looks at the incoming, outgoing, all that, looks at the net worth of seniors, in the age group, because there are different studies done for senior living as compared to an apartment complex in a workforce housing.
Yeah. Wow. It's interesting. A minute ago, you had mentioned obviously converting the suite hotels, potentially doing that. You also mentioned potentially even some office space.
Yes.
You see that as maybe a reliable source of some properties potentially that may work. I mean, it's so difficult, right? Depending on the location, I know, but man, that there's probably some office space for sale right
Yeah,
now.
I know. It's amazing with this working from home, or just coming to offices twice a week, maybe, let's say, lots of office spaces are open. I've not looked into that lately, but no, definitely and the beauty is that the senior living, what we are finding in the demographical shifts, lots of seniors love to be near to their siblings, to their children and their grandchildren. So actually, lots and lots of openings are coming up all throughout the USA, where seniors, this is their last maybe 5, 7, 10 years of life left, the golden years, I call it. So they want to be near to their family.
What would you say is for the passive investor listening, and this would apply, I guess, for the operators as well. But what's the biggest risk for senior living, right? For investing in senior living?
Oh, investing in senior living, definitely, the big thing is you want to make sure that these are not your last dollars. I mean, you want to put the money, it's a 3 to 5 years spectrum, sometime even 7 years spectrum. So you want to make sure you're using your retirement money if you are self-directed, or your cash. The other part is you got to definitely be looking at what insurances the sponsor has, what's their track record, and how would they deal with, who's going to manage the asset. That's a big one. Not only just the real estate, it's also operation. So that's a big thing also, very huge thing, right?
Yeah, no doubt about it. Is there anything specific that you would ask for, say, for the third party manager? Let's say as a passive investor,
Oh,
if I was looking
totally.
to invest, anything that I would ask for concerning the property manager, themselves, that you wouldn't maybe normally know about, like
You know,
multifamily or anything
that's
different
a
there?
very good point, Whitney. I mean, most of us sponsors, over the last 16 years, I've done 40 deals. But you're right. The investor should ask who's going to manage. In my case, I was vertically integrated, 158 people on my staff. every 2 weeks, right? I was doing the payroll, never missed a beat. But then we were having a huge $1 billion portfolio. Now we have gone down. So we use third party now, Bell Partners, Ram Partners, Greystones, nice RPM, all these big companies, they have billions of dollars under their management. We look at and interview their regionals and their property management, all that. So it's very good for investors to ask that. Please, please, please ask, because it's not just the real estate that you're buying, it's what you do with the real estate to bring the cash flow and the value add and the increase in NOI. It happens after the keys are given in the sponsor's hand, I call it. All these projections are hanky-dory, but who's going to manage that asset is very, very important, very, very important. And how the cost cutting will come, how the business plans will be instituted and implemented, how we're going to be getting the reports on everything, transparency, all those, right?
For sure. Yeah, no doubt. I appreciate you encouraging the listeners to ask, right? Who's managing it? Maybe this is a good time too. One thing you mentioned before we even started recording, you said I'm not the expert, and I would beg to differ. By the way, Vinny's definitely an expert in these spaces in commercial real estate. But you said you build teams of experts, right? And that's how you're doing this so well and moving so fast. And maybe how have you found some of the experts to bring onto your team?
I appreciate that very much. And when people have asked me that, my main thinking is, you send out the law of attraction, law of abundance thinking. Of course, mindset is so, so important. I've been sending signals out with intentions that, I want to find somebody who would be able to help me to get me to the next level. So finding strategic partner is huge. Cybersecurity company, for example, I'm an angel investor in that one. I found a great CEO who took one company to NASDAQ and sold it. And that was his passion, to start a cybersecurity company. I'm so happy to say that in 4 years, it's becoming a very big company now, clouddefense.ai. Then I wanted to have in the senior living, I partnered with my partner who came from, another country and built, like, for 9 years, senior assisted livings, many of them, like 27 to 30 of them. So I partnered with them. Now, hospitality is my other, where I'm very, very focused right now also, along with senior assisted living. Hospitality had gone down in the COVID. Nobody was traveling, afraid and everything. Now it's back up and even higher than what it was in the COVID time. People are going out, the ADRs, average daily rates are growing. So what I'm trying to say is, found another strategic partner with my partners, where we are doing this fund, $100 million fund right now for hospitality alone. And we found a strategic partner sending out signals again. You come and you meet and you go further and you further, then people find out you like to be in that field. They introduce you to other people. That's how the work is. It's not a solo game. I always say commercial investing is a team sport. And I'm so happy to meet with the hospitality partners who have been in business for over 25 years, who have built 78 hotels, Marriott's, Hyatt's, IHG's, just the name brand, not the non-name brand, just the name brand ones. So I'm very, very excited about that, which is, again, hotel, Whitney, is like an apartment. It's a unit upstairs, but the tenant or the resident, I call it, they pay at the counter for 4 days, 5 days. I like extended stays, in my side, but they pay upfront. And then they go and have a great experience in the room or the suite or like that. So it's like a multifamily to another level. So hospitality also fits my thinking. And then the thing is, I'm not locked in with a lease of 6 months or a year, which is in multifamily. But in this one, the ADR, average daily rate, is daily rate. And it's 5 different rates changes in a night. If the demand is more, the rates automatically go up, through artificial intelligence. So it's amazing how similarity it is, which we are doing in apartments also. In our apartments, we use the services where, depending on the demand of that area where the resident is looking at, the lease amounts go up every day, up and down. So it's amazing, how this whole world is going to change. I mean, just AI is going to transform every industry.
So make sure you book your rooms way in advance, right?
That's so true. So true. Don't wait
Vinney.
till the last moment.
I just appreciate your willingness to do that and share what you're learning, Vinney, and teaching us so much. Tell the listeners how they can get in touch with you, Vinney, again, but also learn about your book about senior living as well.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. My book should be launched in about a few days. Actually, 440 pages. I put a lot of heart and soul. 2 years it took me to write that one. Then my positive book is relaunching again, also on Amazon. It was a top seller before. Hopefully, all my readers will love the new content in my second edition, make it top seller also. And my third book, which was the first one in 2019 that I published, was Apartment Syndication Made Easy. Of course, my podcast, Apartment Syndication Made Easy, every week. I also have 2 shows now that I do. One is Abundance Mindset with Vinney Chopra live show at 9 a.m. on Thursday mornings. I do, and we make reels and videos and everything. Then I do a show, Vinney and Bo show, on Fridays live also every week. So there are several places. And I'm on Twitter. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok, everywhere.
Thank you for being with us again today. I hope that you have learned a lot from the show. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I hope you're telling your friends about the Real Estate Syndication Show and how they can also build wealth in real estate. You can also go to lifebridgecapital.com and start investing today.